When I was young, I was raised in a good family, but not raised in a church. My dad was Protestant, my mom was Lutheran, and we were baptized Catholic. They did make sure we crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's, and I did Holy Communion, and I did confirmation, and that was basically church for me. It was sporadic throughout my life. As an adult, I took my kids to the Lutheran church sporadically. More than Easter, more than Christmas, but very rarely. So my life, I threw it away. When I was very young, a priest told me if I broke the 10 Commandments, I was on the way to hell. And I had already disobeyed my parents. Honor your mother and father. And I grew up with the attitude, well, I was already on my way to hell. I didn't know there was a way different. And so I did as I pleased. Things that happened, and I became a raging alcoholic. I was depressed. I was lost. Lost is the correct word. Wondering, this is truly me. What is life about? And why am I even here? And so eventually I got into AA. So I went and I did get stopped drinking the second time. I went with, this is it. It's either this or I may as well not be here anymore. And so I get in AA, and there's this God, this power, this great power beyond our understanding. And I attached to it right away. And he relieved me from drinking. And there's spiritual principles all throughout the AA literature. So I get this life, a start over, a renew, And they had prayers, and I stuck to those prayers. One of them being, God, you can have all of me. Take away every single defect of character which stands in my way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. And slowly but surely as I prayed that, knowing now that it was God's will, so he's going to answer that kind of prayer. He did those things, and he made me a useful person. I wasn't lost in the world going, what is my purpose? I thought my purpose was to help the next suffering alcoholic, which that's part of my purpose. But what I did is I searched for meditation. How do you hear God? Basically, I'm praying to God, but what is he telling me to do next? I'm doing these spiritual principles and I'm getting results. But is that just following a rote book? Is that God telling me? That was my main thing in life. Where is God? So at 3 years, I walked out of AA and I started searching. At the time, I didn't know what for. But eventually, I found out I was searching for more than just God. I was searching for a way to God, which is Jesus Christ, my Savior. This search was the most important thing in my life. And I wound up at my sister's house, who had invited me to Bible study for years. I'm telling you, years. And I was staying with her. And a Wednesday morning, she got in her car to go to Bible study. And I jumped in the car and I said, I'm going. I was just investigating. And there was this particular lady named Ellen who found out that I did not know I was saved a couple of weeks in the Bible study. And Bible study ended, and she kept me in the parking lot, and she did not let me go until I knew that I was savable. Did I believe it? No. But I knew I was. But I'm too bad. I've done too many things. Not me. But I persevered in it. And I look back at notes and stuff. I think the very first day of Bible study, I went to a lecture. I had Jesus. I have that paper. I have Jesus this, Jesus that, Jesus this. When I looked at it about 2 or 3 years later, I said, I knew him that day. That's the day I discovered my Savior. And then I had ears to hear and eyes to see. And I don't know why out of all of these people, he reached down and saved me. He left the 99 for me. He reached down 12 steps in the AA program and pulled me out the muck and mire and lifted me up. And he stayed with me through the whole thing, although I didn't know it. But I know it today. A lot of people passed me by when I was an alcoholic, and I acted where nobody would infiltrate and find how sad and how lost I was. You know, I did this a total make-believe person. That's who I was. I was not who God created me to be. I was my own creation. And guess what? I had no power to keep that up. So what I would want people to really, really know from this message is I told you, I was lost, I was suffering. Those are the people I go after. Somebody sitting on a park bench, and you know they're having a bad day. And I don't invade their space, because I didn't like it when it was done to me. God doesn't push, he invites. And there's been people that push me away, and there's been people that's invited me to sit. Every one of those conversations where I was invited to sit came out well. And it's the thing I'm learning still today. It's not what I say. It's more about listening to what they say. It's more about handing Jesus' compassion over. It definitely not what I did, because there's nothing in me that has that power to do it. It's definitely Jesus through me working. That's what I mainly want people to know. Don't pass your neighbor. God, the most important commandments, which takes care of all 10, is love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and body, and love your neighbor as yourself. And we can't pick our neighbors. Our neighbor is every other person that exists in this world.